Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? I'm meaning to do a response to what Billy and Kirk have been talking about for like the past week or so, which has a lot to do with depression. Um, whether it be like seasonal depression or outside influences depression, outside influence depression, like that Billy's been talking about lately. Um, Sometimes seasonal. I think around this time of year, a lot of people tend to talk about seasonal depression, which I don't think I've really ever experienced seasonal depression, to be honest. But um, this is gonna be kind of a freestyle video because, like I normally do, because I don't have notes, I don't have anything. I don't even think I left a comment other than saying I would respond to this at some point. So I'm gonna go over. I think I'm gonna play this at 1.25, just because and then skip over some parts, and then I'll go over Kirk's video. So try not to go on for too long, because each video is like Kirk's is 50 minutes and Billy's is 40 minutes. That's gonna be almost 2 hours of going over this. So I'm probably gonna heavily edit it, heavily edit, any dead air or anything that's I don't find interesting to really comment over. Just get my got a Canada Dry, zero sugar, pretty good. I'll edit out any slurping noise. Not that most people really care about that. I guess except me, really. Um, I guess I that bothers me. It kind of always has, but kind of amped up when I got more into watching Darkside Phil and his food shenanigans, his slurping mouth noises, kind of thing. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Yep, let's go ahead and just play it from the beginning.
Fighting depression for like a week. What's good? So I've been fighting depression for like a week, debilitating depression. Now,
He's
when I say
weird.
depression, do I mean that
It's weird. It's weird listening to him at 1.25 because I normally don't do that. I'm just gonna play at 1.0.
I'm sad? Nope. Do I mean that I have a low self esteem?
Really
Nope.
loud.
In fact, I always, reiterate that I feel like I have a decent self esteem. I trust myself. Like I believe, like I like myself, right? I like myself, right? I love myself in a healthy way, right? So I feel like, you know, that
There, that should be
that
more
I've
equalized there.
arrived at a point in my life where I feel good about who I am. So, um, with that said, um, I I see depression more like a byproduct of external factors, at least for me anyway, right? I'm not someone with a low self esteem or a low self image could possibly um, have. Let me get my mom's trying to call me right now as I'm making this video, but that means she's at home now, and so I'm getting distracted because her number's right there. She wants to let me know she's at home. So, anyways, what was I saying? So what can trigger depression? External factors can contribute to depression, in my opinion. And so I do have a lot of okay. Let me get my thoughts together again. So I kind of feel like I'm having ADHD symptoms too, right? I feel like I'm having like ADHD, like um, where my thoughts are really overwhelmingly scattered and I can't think straight. And that's been a really tough week. I might have had, I think I had experienced it mildly like the week before, but this week, oh man, it's been debilitating. And I've been doing everything I can remember. So I also forget uh, the modalities that I used to use. I haven't had depression like this in a long time, right? So I kind of forget some of the cognitive modalities I used to use when I was younger, when I first learned about depression, right? Um, but I was going to say someone's self-image and self-esteem
You know what?
can.
I'm gonna cut what I just watched out, which is not even 2 minutes, because I think Kirk. No, Kirk didn't watch the video live. Okay, so okay, I'll keep watching it like this then, because I thought maybe Kirk's response was watching it, but I'm thinking of his I'm actually thinking of his last upload where he was. Let me just make sure I'm not going crazy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was watching. Okay, he was watching this and responded to it. Okay, so we'll keep going like this then.
Create depression, okay? Um, and you can't really talk about it to most people because people equate depression with being sad and low self-image or low self-esteem, and that's just so not my case, but people that can induce the depression, but external factors can also, like stress, can induce the depression, right? So for me, it's just external factors, right? I've been collecting more and more boxes, right? So I've got boxes literally stacked up more than almost halfway to the ceiling because I'm going to have to move after this old dog dies that lives on this property. So I'll have 30, after the dog dies, I'll have
Man,
30 days to get out.
look, a weird tangent. I know I talk about dogs sometimes, but it's like this chick, this dumb fucking not Billy. I'm talking about the lady he works for. This stupid bitch revolving her life around this dumb animal. It's fucking nuts, though, man. Dog nutters are something else, dude. I'm telling you. If y'all don't believe me, I mean, you can fucking pay attention to the dog people in your life, and they just act fucking nutty, man. There's something wrong with them. Got a fucking screw loose. But this stupid bitch is revolving her whole life and her decisions around this dumb animal. It blows my mind.
Out of here because the lady that owns this place is going to have to remodel it in here or at least clean it up in order to sell her home. All right. Um, so
Weird behavior,
the
man.
depression is causing me to
Anyway, that's besides the
um,
point.
is external. It's due to those factors, and it's also my son just turned 18, and that I don't think that's bothering me. Right? I don't think that's bothering me. That, but but I'm kind of like stuck financially and economically in this economic situation. So um, and I know that I don't have help, and I know that I don't have people that I can reach out to, friends or family, aside from my mother. Right? My mother has said that she will help me if I needed to get a camper, for uh, when that time comes. So I'm looking for a piece of land that I can park a camper on, um, or some kind of arrangement because I don't have any money for a deposit somewhere, and I don't have any means to, with the business that I work. As I frequently say, I make a little more than what I would do if I were back working for other people. So it does not make sense to take that kind of pay cut and reduction in the flexibility that allows me to even keep this place, to keep a place, right? It's the flexibility that I have that allows me to have a dwelling, So and the how I'm paid, right? That allows me to have a dwelling, and so I'm always doing the math, meaning I sit down and I look at rent prices for this and that, and I look at jobs available at these warehouses and these restaurants, like all the things I did previous to working for myself. I look at all of those places and I say, okay, well that place starts at umpteenth an hour, and that place starts at empteenth an hour. So I need a place that where I can, get where I can get paid this much an hour, 40 hours a week, if I want to be able to afford to live here or there. Okay, and here's my opinion. I have a son. He just turned 18. I don't believe he's mentally prepared, even though looking at him and how he's not prepared, right? So I got him when he was 12. And we've been through the ringer.
Real quick, Kirk and I talked about this one of our podcasts, and we had spoken about how like the Zoomers and the Gen Alphas, well, mostly the Gen Alphas, turning into adults right now. Can't see my hands. Most of them turning into adults right now are how'd I put it? They're going into the workforce, right? And they can't help but be red pilled automatically because of the cost of living. Like I think Kirk figured out like you need at least like 40K, like a 40K a year just to fucking, afford basic living, basic just having a home to live in, property to be on, and basic needs, right? This isn't even considering just frugal shit like entertainment and all that, just to own a car, just basic shit. And like for instance, Billy's son going in, probably possibly going into the workforce soon, is gonna get red pilled, right? Immediately, because maybe even black pilled, because like just this 40K a year shit at minimum, maybe scrapping by with 30K a year, and just by the mere fact that witnessing his own father, right, Billy, kind of struggle in this way, it's like how the fuck are you supposed to make it? Like Billy says, how the fuck are you supposed to make it just working for another man at an entry level job, right? Um, let's say for instance, what's his name? Billy's son decides to be like a dishwasher at a restaurant, right? That's like an entry level shit. Um, considering considering whether or not there's a gatekeeper there's gatekeepers at these restaurants, right? Usually middle-aged fucks who hire their friends, like a lot of nepotism going on in places like this, and I'm sure Billy well aware of this shit. Either racial or familial, or even sometimes just friends. They hire their friends all the time. Their stupid families, or they hire based on race, and all that. It's like it's all about who you know, right? This basic shit. That's just the way the fucking world works. Okay, revolves around this nepotism shit. Um, I'm just gonna ask that. Did I spell restaurant right? Chad. So it depends on, let's say, a dishwasher. Let's see. Average salary entry level job is dishwasher. Let's do this. Let's see. So hourly wage for dishwashers nationally, so on average. So let's say $11 an hour to $15 an hour. And that's 31K if you're lucky, right? 31,000 a year. I'd be fucking shocked if Billy's son can get a entry level job for 31,000 a year. But that's doable, but it's going to be an uphill battle because starting from nothing, right? Having to get a car, needing a place to stay, and it's like you got to have this. You kind of have like a Billy likes to say. He likes to say like, and it's absolutely true, where you have to have this foundation already built up, right? Like me, for instance, I had a foundation in the sense that when I got my job, um, my first job at a store, which was Reed's Supermarket in a little town called Odom, Texas, I had connections. My uncle worked there. They got me a job. It was like I want to say probably 550 an hour, something like that. Back then in the mid 90s, not even in the mid 90s. It was early 2000s, right? So it was like 2000. I want to say it was 2001, 2002. Um, and I had a foundation considering my mother's brother, well, my mother's brother-in-law, right? My uncle, got me a job. I had a place to live already. I was given a car. It was an old Buick. I don't remember the year. I think it was like a 83, 84, 85 Buick. I was given a car that all I had to do was upkeep, right? It's already paid off. So I had all this kind of inherited and handed over to me already, right? Whereas Billy's son is kind of starting from nothing, right? And I'm not, look, I'm not bragging on Billy. I think he knows that already, but I'm just saying, like, maybe not nothing, right? Because he does have his father, and that to me, that's a really good fucking thumbs up, dude. Like, that's incredible that he has his dad, kind of showing him the way and being the light in his life. That's incredible. So he does have a tiny bit of an advantage in that way. Um, but at the same time, Billy's son, let's say compared to the way I started off, isn't gonna have all of those advantages of living with my mother. I was a teenager. I was living with my mother. I had my own car. I was going to high school. I was working part time, about 20, 30 hours a week. Just making chump change, right? 5.50 an hour, whatever it was, fucking chump change. I could buy a video game like once a month if I really wanted to, and the rest I just use on basic necessities like food and all of that. So, just something interesting. Let's say Billy's son gets a entry level job at, let's say, as a dishwasher, right? And making, let's just say, $11 an hour at minimum. He still he still has to have has to have a place to stay for when, right? Um, Somewhere consistent, and also have a car or at least a ride, and a guaranteed 40 hours, right? So it's just really difficult for my point is, like, it's difficult for these young Gen Alphas that are becoming adults going into this economy, right? I know it's fucking corny and cheesy to say it that way. Oh, the economy. But I mean, like, really, like, at minimum, right? 40K a year just for basic living necessities and needs and all that. So it's like I said, the Gen Alphas going into the workforce are just instantly red pilled. They can't help but be um like, just to put it simply, red pilled. I don't know if I'm not really getting at the Republican or Democrat shit or conservative liberal shit. I'm just saying they just they get hit with a dose of reality right off the bat. um and maybe not, right? Because maybe there's a more than one, there more not more than one, but majority of Gen Alphas do have a life handed to them already that they can build off of, right? I don't know.
So I've in my the way I always say it, even though I've had him since he was 12, just about 13,
I think I made sense with that.
just a few months shy of 13 is when I got him. So 5 years, a little more than 5 years, because I fought legal battles and chronic homelessness as a result. While being a single dad, it's like I didn't even get a chance to be the dad. I could only remain present to a limited extent this whole time because everything that I was up against pushed me into an economic situation to where my sole focus had to be simply the act of shelter, food,
Hmm.
and the ability to bathe. That's it. So that's the limit. That's the only thing that I could provide after all these years, right? Um, and that's the only thing I was able to do: provide shelter, food, and that was it. Anything beyond that, not really, because I was fighting the legal battles for what, 2 years total, more than that, really. But while he has been with me, and then the after effects of that, and then the side effects of that, and then the other things that happened, and I, I just practically, okay, you understand, practically, I have not been able to take some time to just invest into him and to. So he has applied at jobs. He will help me around the house if I need help. Like,
I don't know, to the way I said it a while ago, where it's like he's seen his father be a man. He's seen his father being the best father that he can be, that Billy can be, right? And to me, that's the best thing you can do. So in that sense, um how do I word this? It's like you don't have to worry. Like it's in God's hands, if that makes sense. I know it's you don't like the preachy talk, but I don't know how else to word it. It's like you did it. You were a provider and a father in the perfect way, and it's not gonna seem like it now, but I don't know, man. Give it 10 years when your son is in his 30s, right? He's gonna look back on this and realize you were acting in the perfect way, even though you may not realize it at the time. And I don't know. I think Kirk's last video, he talked about guilt a whole lot. Like maybe there's some guilt associated with this, with these bouts of depression. And I believe you said that in one of your response videos that you didn't think so. But I don't know. The impression I'm getting here is that maybe there is a little bit of guilt associated with that, and maybe that has a lot to do, not a lot to do, but it's a little tiny bit to do with these bouts of depression. I don't know, just something to consider.
The other week when, see, I'm in a situation, for people that don't know, I try to limit my son's exposure to certain people. And so when I'm on this property, I keep my son inside as much as possible. But the other week, the lady that owns the property, she was not here for 2 weeks, so he was outside mowing leaves with me, cleaning up the yard, doing landscaping work, helping around the house, etc. And so he will do stuff. You know, each kid has their own distinct way that they are, and I do have to motivate him. Okay, some stuff he'll do on his own. There's been a few times I'll come home and he'll be like, "Hey, I did this," and like he did some dishes or something, right? And so he is helpful, and but sometimes when I do have to motivate him, he does put up a little fuss about it. Not necessarily a fight, but a little fuss. But I just, so I need more time to be able to, now that he's 18, I thought that possibly when he turns 18, I'll be able to be more freed up to invest more time into him and then prepare him to get out into the world. Now, technically, if something bad,
Well, like I said, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like there are nuances to being an adult that you may probably have to go over with him. But like I said, he's already witnessed. He's been witnessing this his whole childhood, or at least his teenage years, right? Of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a provider. And on the flip side, his mother, what it looks like to be an absolute leeching piece of shit. You know what I mean? So he's witnessed both sides of the coin already. Um, and as for what you have to do is just the nuances. I don't know what you have in mind exactly, but the little things of what it takes to be a provider, what it takes to be an adult, what it takes to be a father, right? Because the kind of father you are is the kind of father he's going to be, maybe even better, right? And that's what you want. Like, you want him to be a better man than you, or be a better father than you, make better decisions than you. That's the way we're supposed to be passing down this spirit of that God spirit, that light spirit. That's all parents, okay? All parents need to do this, but that fucking chance, like 99.99% of parents don't do that because they think they have to pass on material wealth, right? So, oh, you pass on material wealth. So fucking stupid.
were to happen to me, he will have to start from where he's at now. And it's making me realize just how mentally he is. He is smarter than me.
Mm,
He is more aware than me
you
at
know,
his age. When I was his age, he
that's like perfect, dude. Like you got it made. If like I believe you. Like I can hear when he talks. Like the one video I responded to a few months ago where you and him were having a conversation. It's like, dude, this little guy, you know, this little dude's like he's a grown man now, right? He's 18, but it's like this guy is like fucking on point with his observations. Like, holy fuck, I would have never been that observant at his age. That's crazy.
comparatively he is more intelligent than me.
Especially when it comes to noticing the what's it called the narcissism and all of that with his own mother. Um, it's just incredible that he sees that at such a young age and can do something about it and maybe possibly avoid being around a girl or another woman around his age when it's time for him to when he starts getting interested in um looking for a partner, looking for a wife. um yep.
Smarter than me, and
And it's not even looking for a wife, right? You let, like, how this is how it's going to work. I mean, this is how it has to work for him to avoid these tragedies that so many families are. Your son being a man, he has to let a woman come into his world, okay? He doesn't go into their world. He doesn't follow the woman around, okay? It's like literally, like physically, metaphysically, and spiritually, men following their women into their worlds, right? Like, say for instance, let's say the guy finds some, well, let's say the woman finds some schlubby hubby, some schmuck, oofy doofy motherfucker. While she has like 3 kids, she finds the oofy doofy, and the oofy doofy has to automatically come into her world, right? Because she's the one with the kids. Since she's the one with the children, the guy automatically goes into her world and has to follow her, right? My little men. So the woman, like, if he attracts a woman, attracts a lady, um, he has to make sure that she's following him and into his world, no matter what world it is, even if it is a world of poverty or a world of living in a single wide trailer, a used trailer, or driving a 30-year-old truck or whatever it is. She has to go into his world, or it isn't going to work. Like, the curse will continue on.
he, yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, and he has more connection, even though his connections are virtually, he really doesn't have connections technically. His connections are only to his mom
Mhm.
and his and that's it. And that's
And I said this before, but he really needs to be careful with her. But he says he knows this already, right? But if his only connection is his mother, then I mean, get some fucking better connections, because she might actually use that to her advantage at some point once, because she probably realizes this. Even if she hasn't realized it in the frontal lobe, she's definitely realized it on the metaphysical level
a
or in the
horrible
spiritual
position.
level.
It's a literal dangerous, literally dangerous. I won't go into it. It's before he went to his mom's this evening. I said, dude,
Yeah,
look,
I've heard your
it's
stories.
literally dangerous to be at your mom's.
It really
Like,
is.
and then I had to give him some counsel on certain things that he should do in certain ways he should behave, right? Because it's literally dangerous to be at his mom's at this time, and and so then he's got my family, but my family, they're 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 not going to help him, right? You know, if something were to happen to me, they're not going to help him. At most, like if something bad happened to me, I know exactly what would happen, and I've already mentally prepared him for this. My internet famous relative would probably try to step in and intervene and become like a hero to him. Like
Yeah,
that's what would happen
fucking
to
Uncle Buck.
Flex to
Like Uncle Buck in the worst way, because you can be an Uncle Buck and not even really an Uncle Buck, but you can be an uncle and not be an Uncle Buck, like not be this oofy doofy uncle that your brother would try to be, right? Or just hero Superman motherfucker. Like, you told the story, when was it? See, I'm looking for something real quick. One of your last videos, Billy, you talked about you saw your nephew at the grocery store and you played like this weird, not weird, but this little cute little hide and seek game with him, right? And I was like, yeah, that's the way you're supposed to be an uncle. Like, you be in his life and you be the positive male figure in his life. You be the positive uncle in his life. And don't be an oofy doofy and have to save your sister or babysit the nephew or whatever. I know you know this already, but I'm just saying, like, there's a way to be an uncle and not be like a fucking clown. You know what I'm saying? And uh, your famous relative would be an uncle in like the worst way possible, like uh Uncle Buck, and the like a anti Uncle Buck, if that makes sense.
Assume the role, just not, and I can hear Rudy's mind thinking right now, like the
Oh,
uncle,
that's funny.
was it Uncle Buck,
I forgot about.
what he says, and I agree with that, but at the same time, I'm also going to say it's not out of, it's not necessarily the Uncle Buck
Mm,
kind of trope as much as it is like my relative seeks novel attention, seeks novel
yeah, it's like a
circumstances to where he can insert himself in order to
it's like an anti Uncle Buck, man. It's fucking twisted. It's like 20 times worse than Uncle Buck.
get validated and a light shined onto him so that everybody just like, so he's seen and everybody can
Hmm.
go, wow, you're so amazing. He seeks that, and he seeks things to control. He seeks situations to control, right, and to flex and all that. So that's what would happen, and now my mother might help my son a little bit to the, but you also got to understand my family, they have not integrated into society functionally. So my mother will have no clue what it would be like for an 18-year-old kid to have to, without a father or any connections, go out into the world, apply to get a job and start working or start a business. He, to make the immediate money, he would have to work somewhere, working for somebody else. He would,
Hmm.
in that instance, have to start working for somebody probably, most likely. And my mom is not going to understand the complexities of that dynamic. And it would only be a matter of time before, due to lack of her understanding and the rest of my family's understanding of how reality works, because also you got to understand, all of my family, most of them, they just got lucky, literally. None of them went out and worked all these jobs like I did to get to where they are currently at, right? So they would not be a good support system for him at all, right? So anyways, um getting back on topic, getting back on
I mean, I would hope at least they'd have a place to stay. He'd have a place to stay, you know, 'cause I mean that matters a whole lot, obviously.
topic. So um I have not been able to, I've slowly integrated, we've had discussions about it, and especially recently, after, after he turned, after his birthday week, or after his birthday, I've already been on him, like, he's applied it a couple of jobs, but he's like, now his mom, now some of y'all are gonna disagree, maybe, I don't know what your take is on it, because I know that the you guys that I roll with on here mostly, y'all are really into video games,
Hmm.
and uh, now my son is really into video games, and if I had gotten custody of him years ago, I would have never put him on video games, and I would have never let him get. He has a uh, what do you call it? A PC gamer setup. I'll show it to you. He has a PC gaming setup, and it was custom made, right? And I guess it's not on right
It's
now,
like back
so
like the backside.
but
Oh, it is the backside. Okay.
I'll try to show it to
I
you.
didn't I hadn't seen this yet.
So that's his game. So that's his setup, right? And in fact, I believe that the reason why he has that so that's his setup, right?
Only one monitor? Oh,
That
come
game
on, man.
setup is because his mom heard me express how the act of having put him on the video games at such an early age, and my, not my protest against it, but my objection to it. I did have an objection to it. So in response, for Christmas, she got her ex-husband to build that. I know that's why. And so I probably shouldn't have
Her
mentioned anything,
ex-husband.
But I think that's a god awful thing that happened to him, and you could say, well, take it away from him. And actually, I have. I got him an Xbox when he was 13 for Christmas, and not.
I'm not sure what to really say about that. I mean, to give a quick story about how I got into video games, I actually talked about this on a podcast. I think it was our first episode. Me and Kirk, Kirk and I did our podcast together, and I talked about this where I said, the day my father died, which I was 5 years old, the day he died, I had to stay with a neighbor for like a day, and they happened to have an Atari 2600, and they had a game called Keystone Capers, and I have a very vivid memory of playing that game the day my father died, like literally right after he died, and my mother had to leave me with the neighbor so she could take care of the whatever funeral or whatever shenanigans they do after someone dies. So, my very first video game, my first experience with video games was literally the day my dad died. So it's like I got put on video games very early age, because of that. I don't know if it's like a coping mechanism now or a comfort thing, but I do truly enjoy video games for what they have to offer. Nothing modern. I mean, I believe Kirk talked about this in his response to this video where he said that modern gaming is fucking garbage right now. Just to give a quick example, yeah, this bitch, she's streaming it.
What did I do? 6-7? True.
That was 6-7, of course. So this fucking garbage fire of a game, Metroid Prime 4, which I was looking forward to about a year ago, but once the trailers started coming out and stuff started getting leaked about it, I was not interested because, of course it's modern slop, because why wouldn't it be? Modern gaming is just trash, and the big reason this game is trash because if anybody not familiar with Metroid, the Metroid series very heavily revolves around solitude, exploration, backtracking, gaining power-ups, backtracking to go to different areas with those power-ups to access new areas. And while I heard that this game has that, there's also a lot of cringe dialogue from NPCs that you have to escort and that you have to save, and like every 10 seconds the stupid little NPC is talking about if you missed a missile or if you missed a save point or some bullshit like that. And it's like once all that started leaking out, it's like, oh, this is just modern slop. They're trying to pander to a modern audience. Here, let's watch it for a minute, I guess. Let's see if I can find some dialogue sections. She's been playing for a while. How long has she been playing? Almost 4 hours?
Jose, thank you for the 199. Are you using our shows? I'm not. Right now.
The fuck is this thing?
Sure.
Oh my goodness. See if we can find the parts with
I started.
Yep, here we go. See?
Hey, can I pause
So let's say a little bit of dialogue at the beginning, right? You say like, oh, okay.
Oh.
See how far we can get.
Wow.
Come on. Lift it up. Nope. Only do that in mobile.
I feel like the UI looks so big.
See all these schmucks
I know.
standing around.
I get it. I don't know what he just said. Sorry, wasn't scanning. Didn't I just click double jump? It's been that way.
Use the same sound effects from Prime 1. Hey, it's Silex.
Damn. It's cool.
Fucking
I
idiot.
just don't know how I feel about it being a young James Bond. And it only being a
It looks cool. Like, yeah.
Maybe if it does good.
Look, yeah, Silex.
Like an actual series.
But I cannot stand this modern cringe dialogue shit. And I can't give a good example. Hey, vagina.
It's the Eye of Sauron.
Oh my god. Oh, here we go. I found it. Here we fucking go.
I wish you played less gay games. I literally just played a game And I made one.
Wow.
Oh no.
What a
Oh
mess.
no. And you.
Alone?
Yeah, Durin. Looks like a Durin fruit, whatever
I
those are
can't even
called.
finish the
Hope is
thought.
surviving. But you're also not sitting next to Phil anymore in that cubicle, so
Oh no.
win? Oh. Okay. What? What now? Samus? Samus Aran? Hey! Hey, Samus Aran! I'm stuck! Help me out! Oh! Please get me down. I'll just stay right here. Try not to die. More! What was that? Okay, that did not sound friendly. Okay, I got it. Oh, no.
Somebody actually did an edit of this where they cropped out the dialogue part and just had, like, it was just silent, and it was actually like 1,000 times better. There was actually more weight to it, if that made sense, without the fucking stupid voice acting and the cringe dialogue. It was actually pretty good. I was like, oh hey, it's actually decent now because you could still tell what was happening with the body language and stuff, and that's all you need. Like, you don't need this fucking cringe dialogue. Anyway, that's kind of off topic, but like Kirk said, fucking modern video games are fucking garbage, full of liberal DEI shit. I don't know if there's any DEI shit in this game. I think one of the commanders or whatever, for the Marines or the Federation Marines was black, but it's like whatever. They did that in other M, so they don't really bother me too much.
You're out, so I'm
Black
gonna
guy.
stay here if you wanna.
Xbox, but what is that thing called? Switch. I got him a Nintendo Switch for for Christmas when he turned 13, and I took it away from him within days or after a certain amount of time, like very shortly, and I didn't give it back to him for like a year. Okay, so I'm trying to be considerate and work with him on the fact that that's his hobby. He's got a bunch of buddies on there, and that's kind of like his online social network. And then half of those people actually live in town and people he went to school with, and so I can see it functioning in good ways, but at the same time, like, I'm not against video games. I'm just not the type that, like, I'm not into like putting your child on a screen while they're young, but by the time I got him, he was already addicted to it, right? And that is his life, and his mom continuously reinforces it. And you go to her house. At one point I went in there and she's got a big flat screen TV on the wall. To the left, she's got another TV that's flat screen that's half the size of that one, and then she's got 3 different computer monitors. Like, everything's a fucking screen, man. I grew up outdoors, man. Like, I grew up like I had a Nintendo game system, right? And I played Mario and Zelda and a couple other games for the most part. Don't get me wrong, I do like video games. I just don't like most video games. I'm very limited. I can count all the games that I technically like, right? Ages of Empires on the PC. Wolfenstein 3D, the original.
It's really funny because I was actually for like a week or two I was really into Age of Empires 2 and kind of fumbling around with that. It's weird. It's so weird that Billy mentioned Age of Empires.
I like Mario Brothers, but it's not my favorite. I'll play it, but
Mario Brothers 1 is kind of mid. I mean, Mario Brothers 1 is so fucking janky now compared to like even Mario 2, like the next game that came out, or Mario 3, especially Mario 3. It's like Mario 1 is such a blech game.
the original Mario, I'll play it. When I was a kid, I played Mario 3 for a long time.
What do you say?
When I was a kid, I played Mario 3 for a long time.
Yep. Mario 3 is
The only thing
fantastic.
about Mario 2 that I like is, I believe it's Mario 2. It may be 3, but it's the one where you go to this sand dune and you get to dig all these tunnels. And I would just stay
You're
there and
talking
just
about Mario
dig
2,
tunnels, like, and make. That's the only thing I cared about on that game. Anyways,
which is pretty funny
Legend of Zelda
because I'm not a fan of the sand digging mechanic.
original, the original Ninja Turtles game.
I ought to play that on my channel one day. Ninja Turtles, the first Ninja Turtles game for Nintendo. Game's a ball buster, man.
Technically, I liked all the Ninja Turtles games. When I was a kid, I had all the handheld games. I believe I bought them myself, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
And
Those little LCD games.
Mario Kart, the original one, or Mario Racing, whatever that was,
Yeah,
whatever
those-
that was on the
Super Mario
64.
Kart. Oh, on 64, really?
Whatever that was on the 64.
Mm.
That's about it, right?
I mean, you could still play those today. Ask your son about emulation.
So I'm no
I
stranger.
mean, hell, I got this thing. I could play all those games. My thing froze. Whoop. What did that happen? Let's go. Alright. Didn't realize my camera froze and froze again. The fuck? So, okay. I think we're good. My camera keeps freezing. I don't know how long ago it froze, but as I was saying, I can literally play all those games on this thing. This little handheld. This was 100 and, I think $150. I'm not saying go out and get this. I'm just saying, like, in terms of, how do I put it? In terms of availability, like, you can still play all those games. Like, I can fire up, let's see real quick. I think I have Mario Kart. Do I have Mario Kart on here? Oh, I do. The ROM doesn't freeze. I can set that up. I don't know if y'all can see it. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to see, but you can kind of see it. So yeah, I got that on there. I can play all the games you mentioned, and I'm just saying, it's just a weird tangent I'm going on, but you know, in terms of availability, I mean, all of these games are still playable on probably your phone. I don't know what kind of phone you have, but more than likely you can emulate all this on your phone. That the touchscreen's controls are going to be fucking weird, but it is what it is. Touchscreens in general are ass to me. I can't play these games on a touchscreen.
To games. I'm just not so immersed into it. I believe it can. It's like a hammer. Hammer can build a house or knock someone on the head.
Yeah, to me, when it comes to the hobby, just my free time, right? Let's say most people will sit down and watch Netflix or watch the cable slop or watch the news. To me, I'm just like, get home, get on my computer, either grab this thing or sit on the couch, you know, play this thing on the recliner, play Roblox with my daughter and my wife on my phone, you know, or I go into my room, get on my computer, and just play whatever, you know, play whatever fucking bullshit. Yeah, I bought the furry game. In case Kirk noticing I bought the furry game. You know, whatever crap, American Truck Sim or RetroArch, I can literally play anything I want. Pretty much made before 2015, I want to say, maybe 2010, something like that. You know, all this shit. Nintendo, all these ROMs, whatever. Mega Man games, Metroid, Super Mario Brothers. Where's Mario Brothers 2? It's not showing for some reason, but there's this. You know, whatever. You know, everything's at my fingertips. Anything before like the year 20, probably the 2010 is at my fingertips.
It's like any
That's why I don't play modern games. It's like my point is like modern fucking slop, you know? Maybe this is besides what the video's about, right? But I'm just kind of talking. Like I said, it's just a whatever kind of video where I'm just reacting.
anything. Too much of something is not good, but such a young age, like if I would have had more money in order and my life more in order where I can spend more time with him and honestly, it helped me in a way to kind of keep him busy
Mhm.
because there were times I didn't have anything busy for him to do. And there were times I had to take him off the game and say, look, you're going to draw tonight, bro. Or, bud, you're going to draw. And I would take him all, like, you need to do something, sell pictures. You need to start making money.
You
He's
grab a
never
pen.
done it. No, I've talked to him. I've told him all this. Like, ever since you were 12, you've been living with me. I told you, make and sell art right now and get it going and sell it because you're going to have to survive on your own at some point. And he'd be like, oh, nobody's going to buy it. Then he'd go out there on the weekend, set up his artwork, and make $100, literally.
Nice.
Around here, we just don't have a place to do that. But I told him, well, draw. Do something. You need to be making money. He hasn't done it yet. He's just... But, you know, I believe that would have went a whole lot better if I would have had more flexibility and had not been fighting all this shit. But anyways. So, I'm having stress. I guess maybe there's some kind of stress that I haven't pinpointed yet about that and him turning 18. Maybe not. I mean, I don't feel... I feel it's just the external stress, and I know...
I mean, in my opinion, you know, I'm not in your shoes, but if you just were to ask me based on this one video and the kind of expression on your face and your body language, from what I can see anyway, it's just him turning 18 added like added so much to the potential timeline, you know, like him turning 18 is this little dot and a little snippet of his life and the possibilities that branch off into like infinity, and you're trying to think of all at the same time, think of all these factors, all these variants, right? And you can't, like, obviously you know this, but you can't do that, you know. And I think that may be linked to what you're going through right now, you know. I don't know, I don't know for sure. I'm just giving you my fucking my armchair psychiatrist opinion, you know, asshole opinion. Just like, well, I do consider you a friend, so from one friend to another, this is what I think is going on, man. Um, it's too much at once. This him turning 18, and it could be other things, right? Um, him turning 18 seems to be a bit of a catalyst for you, just a bit, you know. Like I said, it's probably other things too, but I'm sure him turning 18 has a lot to do with it as well.
know, like I'm always leery, isn't that the word, leery of like it's happened so many times. I'm still like nervous. It eats at my nerves. Like I'm in a weak position. Being in a weak position does not make you weak. It's just being in a weak position, right? Being in a weak position does not make you weak. It just means that you're in a weak position.
Might just have a lot to
That's
do
all.
with being in survival mode all the time, you know? Especially growing up the way you did, where you're always on the lookout for the tells like narcissism. You probably even do this with me or do it with Kirk. While you're watching us, you look out for certain things that might indicate that maybe we're being smug, or maybe you think that we think we're better than you, or I think I'm better than you in some way. You're looking for little hints, right? I'm not saying I am. I'm saying like you can't help it, okay? You can't help but look for the little bitty nuances in our behaviors or anybody's behavior, right? But watching us or watching me right now or listening to me while you're working or whatever you're doing, listening to me, you're looking for any hint of maybe um I don't even know how to word it. I can't word it. I can't find the word, like a hint of a like I'm looking down, like I look down on you or something. Like you're just looking for that. You can't help it. Like I said, like I don't take offense even if you were to go out and say um I think you did once actually. Like one of the first interactions we ever had was where I would think I was talking to you in your comments, right? And you were looking for something that I was talking about God and Jesus and all that bullshit, Bible stuff, and you were looking for a nuance that would kind of out me as some Christian nutter, like a Christian wacko, and that's fine. I didn't take offense. I was like, yeah, I get it. Like I'm highly aware of that. I'm highly aware of the fact that most Christians are fucking crazy asses, you know? So I when I talk about these things, I'm not gonna quote a Bible. The worst you're ever gonna hear me is mention Jesus, which to me, Jesus is like, we're just talking about metaphysics. I'm not even fuck the fact that he may be a real person, spiritually, what he represents for the potential of humanity, right? That's to me, it's just a story. It's a metaphor of what, even if, even if you are the perfect man or the perfect woman, you're still gonna be crucified in the end. That's the story. Like that's you. That's the fucking reality, dude. That's like to me, that's the reality hint that you will be crucified no matter what. In the end, right? Fuck, fuck, man. Like I don't understand all these fucking stupid Christians. Well, I don't know where they get their nonsense from. Oh, I know where they get it from. They get it from their preachers. They get it from their stupid Bible thumping. I don't have a Bible, but their Bible thumping parents.
Means it's not that you are weak. So, uh,
I might go ahead and skip to Kirk's video because it's like been over
so
an hour.
I
I'm not sure how far along. I think I kind of covered what I wanted to cover. I kind of want to move on to Kirk's video too. Since I've listened to this already, right? I might go ahead and do that.
whatever that.
Yeah, I think I've got off my chest what I wanted to, and I'm gonna go ahead and play Kirk's video next, and I'm not sure if that'll be interesting. Not Kirk's video, but me responding to it, if that's gonna be interesting. If it's not, well, I don't think I'm gonna upload that part. I'll just stick to my response to Billy and leave it at that. So we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and split the video. I'll grab another drink. Alright, start here. Alright, I switched microphones. Can't really see it, but here we go. I switched to this mic because I wanted to kind of test it out. See how it sounds compared to this one right here. So I was using this stick mic on the headphones, which I really like. But I'm gonna use this one and see how it goes. See how because I got the idea because I looked at Kirk's mic. I was like, oh yeah, I got one of those. So we'll see how this goes. I had to drop down the decibels down to -6 because it was like in the red, even though it's like 2 feet or so. I know it looks funny. Looks like maybe not 2 feet, like 1.5 feet away from my mouth, and it was still kind of peaking. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, let's go ahead and get it to Kirk's response and see what anything interesting we can talk about or get into.
Billy mentioned was talking about his son and how he didn't want his son to really play video games and get into video games, but it was his ex-wife or whatever, his ex-wife and her son's mother, that was the one that got him into video games and shit and kind of like pushed him towards that. And as he was saying, or I don't know if Billy really said that, but he was pretty much, I would say, probably suggesting that, or at least that's what I would imagine. That's what the mother was mostly, his son's mother was trying to do, was to use it as a babysitter of sorts, as well as maybe in a different sense trying to get him sort of addicted to it in a way, but probably mostly to use it just as most people or most women or not good parents do, use it as an easy, quote unquote, easy babysitter to keep their kids distracted with something. And how do I feel about that? Being somebody that's always been kind of a video game player through most of my life. I definitely see that, where that can be the negatives for sure. Now, say if I was in that same kind of position, would I actively try to stop my kids from like playing, or like I would actively try to steer them away from it or like avoid it. Um, possibly. I mean, especially at this point with the way that video games have gone.
Yeah, I just talked about this too. Is it when it comes to my own daughter? Sorry, I had to wipe my eye. When it comes to my own daughter, you know, she got a tablet when she was like, I want to say 8, so she was a little older by the time she got something like that. And she was still into other hobbies, like for instance, making bracelets and all that, and making she had a little jewelry kit that she would make bracelets with, and she was still doing that even up to her teenage years. Right now, she's really heavy into Roblox because we all kind of play Roblox together. Mostly her and my wife play Roblox together. So she gets her, you know, she gets her homework done. She comes home, gets her homework done, and then she gets on Roblox with my wife, or she'll play with me for a little bit or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I wouldn't say she's super addicted or anything. Um, because really, I mean, all three of us, like especially my wife and I, we've always had this lifestyle of pretty much any free time we have, we're kind of playing games or playing games together or whatever. So we kind of have this it's basically like a culture in our own family where we're just gamers, right? We're all gamers. So it's like it's just normal shit to us. It's just a hobby, a normal hobby, normal free time kind of thing in our lives. So that's why like at any given moment, like I'm either on um you know romhacking.net or on Vim's Lair or looking at fit girl repacks or whatever was the you know what new ROM hacks have come out that I might be interested in or whatever. This is just a like I don't know, a lifestyle, I guess, because I just work, I come home and play a game. You know, it doesn't really matter what. I mean, it matters, but what I'm saying is like I don't know, it's just always been a part of my life. So it's been a part of our marriage. Uh, and from my daughter's perspective, seeing her parents be gamers, right? Gamers in quotes. It's just I don't know, it's just normal to her. So it's not something we can suddenly stop doing or stop or just take away, you know what I mean? It's like we're really enmeshed in this lifestyle by this point.
In recent years, like the past like decade or like two like decade and a half or 2 decades, whatever. I'd say the direction that they've been going, I would just definitely say, yeah, I probably would just tell them to try and avoid especially the modern
Well,
shit.
modern crap is, you know.
Yes, for sure.
And my daughter's kind of I mean, she only really plays Roblox, and Roblox isn't a game in of itself. Roblox is more of a service. Like maybe like a good example maybe is Steam is a service. You know, you don't go online and just play Steam, you play games on Steam. So in Roblox you play games on Roblox. So Roblox is just um there's a name for it, but you get what I'm saying. It just provides the game. So she plays Roblox, she gets on Roblox and plays games on Roblox. So there's all kind of oh, excuse me. There's all kinds of games on Roblox, right? So she doesn't really play modern slop. I know a lot, maybe some people consider Roblox modern slop. I don't know, but I really don't. I think Roblox is a really good, pretty good avenue to have a variety of stuff, right? She really likes obbies, for instance, and an obby is just like a platformer, like a 3D platformer. So, looks like this. We'll mute it. Yeah, it looks like this, where you just platform. I would say the equivalent to this would be maybe something like Mario 64. Only Mario 64 controls a lot better than this. Like, it's hard to explain to her when I say, in terms of like controls, I don't mean literal controls or keyboard. I mean the way it feels. Mario 64 is way more polished than, let's say, the Obby, right? The Roblox physics engine or whatever the fuck you want to call it, where this is just basic fucking walking and jumping, whereas Mario can do flips and do all this other crazy shit, right? And that's what I mean by a game like Mario 64, even though it's a lot older than this, is way more sophisticated by a long shot, by like fucking multiple degrees. But these aren't bad games. These are playable games that are challenging. She really likes these kind of obbies. She speed runs obbies just for fun. She's a speed runner, okay? She really got into it, and no influence from me, okay? She got into this by herself. For some reason, she is my daughter after all. She got heavy into speed running obbies. She's very good at them. That was weird. Okay, that's the solid part. But I can only play these kind of games for so long before my brain starts going numb, because it's just so repetitive to me. Whereas a game like Mario 64, I can fire up and have a good time with it, probably for a few hours at a time and be okay with it, because it's very engaging, challenging. I don't know. It's just fucking. I'm not even sure what my point was to all that, but oh, the modern slot thing, yeah. Like this would be considered a modern game, right? Obby, Roblox obbies, whatever. But like I said, like Mario 64, 30-year-old game, way more sophisticated than this. So even comparing older games to something that's more modern like this, like pound for pound, fucking Mario 64, an older game just fucking takes the cake, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's stupid. Anyway, let's keep going.
But
It's a weird tangent.
even the stuff before that, maybe. Like the main thing is like if they're just playing it and you're actually also using it as a way to bond and interact with your kid and stuff like that, and possibly like you're using it as a tool to spend time with your kid, and as a means of some form of experience or expression, then I think that is a great way to do it potentially if done that way. But using it the way that your ex-wife was, or that his mother was, as a babysitter, which is probably the way that most people use video games with their kids, is no, that is not. I think that is never the good way to do that. Um, and I mean, I used it in a pretty similar way when I was a kid as a way to distance myself from the things that I didn't want to be involved in at that time. Like I played stuff like the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance. Um, Even the Sega. I didn't really play the Sega Game Gear, but like any of these like Game Boy DS. Um,
Pretty funny because the GBA, like I think I wasn't an adult when the Game Boy Advance came out. 2001. So shoot, I was probably 17 when that came out. So the heyday of the GBA was the Game Boy Advance. I was an adult during that era, so it's pretty funny.
these kind of portable consoles and stuff, I
Which
use
is
them
great. I
as
have
a
very
way
fond memories of the
to
GBA.
distance myself and distract myself from
Like
whatever
especially when the SP came out.
mostly like thing I didn't want to be dragged along doing, like going out shopping, clothes shopping with my mom or whatever bullshit, going to her mother's house or being dragged along, all that bullshit that I didn't want to do. Going to family get-togethers and stuff, parties and stuff that I didn't really want to go to and stuff. So I'd use that as a way to kill time, distract myself, and distance myself from those situations that I as a kid, I didn't want to be involved with. Um, which, is that a good or a bad thing? I can't really say. That's just what I did as a kid, and I wanted it, and my parents were pretty much okay with it. Um, Not they encouraged it, but I wanted like video games or something. I wanted something to play with or whatever, and they were okay with it pretty much. They didn't discourage it or necessarily encourage it or discourage it. Um, and I would say there was probably a good extent that they was used almost as like a sort of babysitter to some extent, but my parents weren't really that like um it's not nearly as bad as I would imagine your son's
Good.
mother
Whoops.
was with just kind of like
Got a little
set it
DSP
and
there.
forget it. Just let them be. Just let the video game parent them, or let the video game distract them
Yeah,
and
that was
shit
my
while
mother,
they
pretty
fuck
much.
off and do whatever bullshit that they do. Um, so I don't think it's just like anything, as you mentioned, Billy, with the hammer analogy is like, you could either build something with it or you could hit somebody with it, or you can hit someone with it. Um, I think, yeah, that's a fairly good way to put it. Uh, if used in the right way, then video games, I think they're great for spending time with your kids and everything. But if not kind of used in that way, I think they can be potentially like addictive and stuff, especially the more modern design shit, because they actively try to monetize and get them addicted with gambling and stuff like that and all this bullshit manipulation kind of.
Yeah, Roblox is really, really bad about that because just now my wife was playing a little cat finder puzzle game, which you can actually find on Steam. Let's see. Actually, let's do it this way. She was playing a cat puzzle game, and I swear to God, like every 5 to 20 seconds, fucking pop up would all these games are like this, okay? Like a pop up would come up asking you to buy an upgrade or buy X, Y, and Z. A lot of times it'd be like buy a jetpack to get through this obby or kill everybody, like a little kill button that you can spend Robux on, which you use real life money to buy Robux, and that's their currency. Um, so not indie. So usually these games are on sale. Here we go, building full of cats. It was a game like this. It was basically this, like a rip off of this, only in the Roblox engine. And every 5 to 20 seconds, she was getting a pop up to buy something with Robux, right? And that's Robux. That's how they make their money, right? So, and really, I would say it is. Whoops. I would say it is pretty predatory. The fuck are we? Come on. There we go. It is predatory, but we give our daughter, we give our daughter a specific amount of Robux to spend once a month. Once she gets her report card in, if she makes all A's, for instance, we give her about, I don't know, I forget exactly how much, but about $50 worth of Robux for the month. And she kind of buys whatever. She knows the value of the Robux compared to $1. And she understands that she can't just blow her wad, on one thing. She learned that very early on. Okay, when she was 9 or 10, we started doing this with her. And one time we gave her like $20 worth of Robux as like a birthday gift, and she blew it all on like a one thing. Realized she couldn't buy anything else until the next month, and that's how she learned how to ration it better. And looks like my camera froze up again for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It's obnoxious, but anyway.
Psychological
not
manipulation
that it's that
tactics
important
and
anyway.
stuff to try and get them addicted and to spend money on various bullshit. But that wasn't really a thing
I wonder
years ago.
I wonder how many kids are playing like Gacha, the waifu simulators, like Genshin Impact.
Oh, like like a few decades ago with the video games. That was it's a different time now. Like I would almost say across the board now. I would definitely say not to have your kids get involved with the modern video games and shit, because it's not going to be useful or helpful in most cases, and it's just going to get them.
Yeah,
It's
Fortnite's a
going
good
to try
example
to
with their
push
V-Bucks.
gambling and bullshit like that on them. So yeah. Um But now back onto the topic of depression, I guess, seeing from my notes at least. Depression often felt more for me, often felt for me in the wait a minute. Depression often felt for me in the effective symptoms of it was you was usually low energy, low motivation to do things I normally would do or quote unquote need to do, feelings of anxiety from not doing those things, which previously which previously um could lead to other feelings um like sadness, worthlessness, feelings of worthlessness, anxiety, low self-esteem, etc. Um but yeah, that is the main symptoms that I have experienced with depression, knowing like these bouts of depression is obviously the low energy, low motivation to do things I normally would do or quote unquote need to do. I'm usually all right with staying on my routine of doing certain things like, personal hygiene and chores, whatever you want to call it, stuff like that. Like don't recall ever being like depressed enough to like not remember or not want to like eat or what, that kind of bullshit. Clean myself, that kind of stuff. Might be harder to get up and do some of that, get motivated to up and do it, but then you still will do it generally. Um, but stuff like activities that I would normally want to be doing, um, I would have much, much more trouble or less motivation or derive less pleasure from doing those things than I normally would. Um, and for some of those things that I felt like were important to strive for or whatever to do those things to achieve goals that I was kind of going towards. Um, Especially when I was younger and I didn't really have a clear defined box to put this feeling into of depression. That's when I would feel these feelings of like anxiety of not doing these things, and then I would start feeling worthless and sad or low self-esteem or feeling anxious from not doing those things, and it would just kind of like be almost a little like loop, self-perpetuating loop to an extent. You'd feel shitty for not doing those things, so then you wouldn't do them, but you'd feel shitty for not doing them, and then that kind of stuff, so you just never do it, so you just keep feeling kind of shitty. But when I started to notice, and many other things changed as well, there's many other factors over the years, but when I started to notice and put it into a box of depression, I started feeling that stuff less, because then I kind of, the awareness of it, the vigilance of it, or the awareness of it, made it so I would, I would basically know to tell myself or whatever, just kind of like think in the way the mindset, as you said, Billy, was the to not feel that way, because I'm like, I know this feeling will eventually pass or whatever, this bout of depression will eventually pass, so I shouldn't feel bad or feel worse about myself or something, or or put myself down for not doing those things, because I know it's not that I can't do those things or I don't want to do those things normally. It's just um or unable to do those things or whatever. It's just in that time, it's just I know it's not going to happen kind of deal, or I can't motivate myself to do it. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna try and I'm not gonna make myself feel guilty or bad for not doing that, because I know it's pointless and it just makes you feel worse. So it's like, don't put.
Yeah, he's talking about shining a light on the thoughts, right? He mentions this later, that what what I would typically say were, I would say that all thoughts are all lies, and your thoughts are Satan's thoughts. And I've talked about this before in a previous recording. the one I did with that body cam, where I talked about how we're the original, like your thoughts aren't your own because they're always going to be the thoughts coming from some kind of ideology or trauma or PTSD or the traumatic things that happen in your life is what dictates what goes on in your mind, way into adulthood. All this childhood trauma that accumulates and accumulates and accumulates are become the neuroses as you grow up. I'm so burpy. This video in particular, quit giving Satan access to your mind over 2 years ago, probably. And I believe this one had a lot to do with it too. You're no different than a schizophrenic. The crazy thoughts, right? So basically, and everybody does this, okay? I'm not picking on anybody that's listening, but not even for the most part, I know for a fucking fact, every single one of you have the crazy thoughts going on in your mind, right? Crazy, crazy thoughts, constant chattering in your mind. And in order to get past that, you have to shine a light on it, right? And how you shine a light on it is through meditation. I'm giving you the answer right now. I'm giving you the key. I'm giving you little keys to what you can do. And you can solve these issues by meditating on them. And I'm not saying like you have to sit on the floor and get an Indian style with your legs and all that, the lotus flower position, whatever the fuck it's called. I'm not saying that. I say you can sit in a chair, just a regular chair like this, right? And just sit here with your eyes closed, fold your hands together like this, or you can put them up like that on your lap if you want to. Just fold your hands together, just sit in the dark, turn off all the lights if you have to. Do not put any music on, just sit here with your eyes closed, and I guarantee you, this is what's going to happen next. Every single one of you, you're going to continue with the thoughts, okay? And that's the point. That's supposed to show you that you're not in control. This is literally out of your control, all right? This is why I say there's no free will. You don't have control of these thoughts at all, all right? The crazy shit that goes on in your brain, you're not in control. And once you realize you're not in control, that's when the real you can come up. Because you're gonna be shining a light on Satan's thoughts. So this video right here, quit giving Satan access to your mind, discussing suicide, stop giving Satan the keys to your mind. I don't want to do that, but I want. It looks like it added timestamps like by itself. I hate that shit. It's so weird. Thoughts are your enemy. It took me a while to really conceptualize this, and just recently it hit me. And I was going through it today, like I said. I think everyone does. I've been talking to. So yeah, when I worked overnight, I used to go through this pretty intensely. I want to say it was always around 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. And I don't know if it was just tiredness kicking in, like exhaustion kicking in. Because by that point, I would go in at 10 p.m. So around 3 or 4 o'clock, it would be about 6 hours into the shift. Kind of at my mental limit, But I had a realization that, God, what was it? I talked about it in this video, where it's like, oh yeah, the finger guns. It's actually on there. I'm kind of glad it has notations or whatever, timestamps. I didn't make these timestamps, okay? It's fucking YouTube did that shit back when it used to do that. I don't think it does it anymore, but so the finger gun gesture, right? I realized as I was going about my night, going about the shift, that I kept picturing that, right? And then I realized after a while, I was like, oh my God, it's not that I want to die. It's that I want the thoughts to stop, right? And I think most people who have these suicidal thoughts, I don't know if Billy's gotten to that point. I don't think he has, but people who have these kind of suicidal thoughts, it's not that they want to stop existing. They just want the thoughts to stop. Because a lot of times when I'm going through that, I want the chatter to stop, okay? And I remember this one specific time I got so tired of it. I went to the quietest room I could find in my store, right, where I work. I found a quiet room. I
I took off my little intercom thing and I told Karina, who I was working with at the time, that she needs to leave me alone for like 10 minutes. And if you really, really need me, come physically find me and tell me about it, because I need to chill out for a minute. I'm going through something. And she understood, right? She's cool like that. She understood, and I literally sat down in a chair, turned the lights off, sat down with my eyes closed, and just sat there until the thoughts stopped. And and I sat there for like 10 minutes with this constant chatter. Constant chatter. And I guarantee you that's probably that's how Billy feels, right? And I want Billy to try this, okay? So if you can probably do this in your truck. Maybe even late at night. Let's say late at night you're going through this, right? I want you to get out from your bed or sit on the couch. Get up, literally physically go to your truck or the quietest place you can find, right? Away from your son, away from everybody. Sit in your truck for 20 minutes. Give it 20 minutes, right? And I want you to just sit there with your eyes closed in complete silence. And when this chatter is going on in your head, I want you to just observe it. Just observe it. Have no opinions about it. And if you find yourself planning for the future, realize that you're doing it and let it pass. Because this is the problem that I would face all the time, where it's like I would have a thought after thought after thought. And it's like that led to another thought, that led to another thought. And you may be saying, well, that's just the way thoughts work. Well, it's like, no. This is your enemy, okay? This is Satan attacking you. This is a battleground. This is a spiritual battleground. You're battling with the demons that your parents instilled in you in childhood. These are childhood demons, man. And the way you get past it is through meditation. And all meditation means is sitting quietly. And that's it. You can do this anywhere, okay? You don't necessarily have to sit in a dark room. I'm just suggesting sitting in a dark room for now as a way of seeing it for yourself, right? And eventually the thoughts are going to stop. And you're going to feel relieved after like 20, 30 minutes of doing this. You're going to feel like a weight off your shoulders. And I want you to observe it, okay? Don't get cocky. Don't say like, oh, now I know how to meditate. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Because that's just another thought. That's just another one of Satan's thoughts. All right, so yeah, I highly recommend. I'm shilling my own stuff, right? I'll link this in the description. And I want everybody who's watching, even maybe Kurt can watch it too, to go ahead and watch this video again or listen to it again. Just keep in mind some of my opinions may have changed, since then. So I'll probably re-listen to it at work tomorrow just to refresh my memory. I don't know if it's cringe or not, listen to my own stuff, but I've heard that a lot of people actually do that when they start making videos. They'll listen to their own stuff. I'm trying to find this. There it is. This one as well. You're no better than a schizophrenic. I think this is the video that pissed off Christoph. Pissed off Christoph. Pretty badly. Pissed off Christoph. Holy fuck. Fucking Uncanny Deduction. Cool guy. Go check him out. He goes by the painting one now. Yeah, go check out his stuff. Who cares? I don't give a fuck anymore. Fucking, yeah, Uncanny Deduction. Considered him a friend at one point, I guess I still kind of do. I mean, I don't hate the guy. He just went off the deep end, brother. Hey, Ninja Turtles. Or a turtle, rather. He wants my energy. I feel like I'm being taunted. Maybe he doesn't realize it, but he wants my energy. I already know he does. Christoph wants my energy. Do you want to control the world? I already do, dude. I've already told you. I've told him that I control the world already, and that he didn't like that. It's cute. He's like, man, how do I put it? I'm like a high level warlock, and he's still playing with magic crystals, and he's still playing with crystals and painting pictures, and I'm over here. I don't need any of this shit. I don't need an 8-ball. All I need is the cats, really. The cats are the catalyst. The catalyst. Waka waka. But yeah, he's still playing with crystals. Like a little toddler. and I control the world with my mind, with my freaking mind, man, with zero effort, and it's amazing. Yep. What's it like? What's it like to be still painting using your little trinkets?
Hello.
Using your little trinkets to control the world.
How do I do
Oh,
this?
paper towels.
Yes.
Okay.
Lot of crap.
I can tell he's not a trained artist just because the way he's holding his instrument.
Lot of rubble.
What is this?
Here. See all the rubble.
Oh, the rubble.
Okay.
All right, that's enough energy for me. That's all you're getting, Christoph. I don't think he's subbed to me anymore. Anyway, that was an interesting tangent. Let's continue.
Put yourself down. Don't put myself down for not doing those things that I feel like I should be doing, because it's just like, well, eventually this feeling will pass. So just let it be. Let it be.
Let it be.
Like water off a duck's back or whatever. Next note, the pattern I noticed for myself most frequently centered around the changing of season. I did talk about this, but I'll just read it. Changing of season, seasonal depression would likely be the clinical term for it, though I have felt it other times when I was younger, more than likely based on external stress and expectations from the school system and the American Dream programming and such. So I already talked about that. Next note, I've experienced bouts of depression fairly often over the years. Recently, I think it has gotten somewhat better or easier to deal with due to the awareness and conscious acknowledgement of it. It still happens, but being aware of that does help a lot. And I do think it does definitely help a significant amount to just be aware and vigilant of it, and when it happens and when it comes up, as I kind of talked about throughout this. I think it really does just make it better, because especially like this year, I noticed when it started to feel what it was, I was like, I felt much less bad about it because I was much more aware of it, much more aware of the fact that what it was or whatever, that it was happening, sort of deal. Next note, depression does seem to have patterns, but it does indeed take some time to realize it is occurring. And this is where you were talking about, Billy, with these thoughts of these anxious thoughts, I guess. Anxious thoughts, I guess, and I said racing thoughts, as we have talked about, the thoughts in this is more of like a kind of spiritual kind of like thing. I don't know, you want to say like spiritual or sort of like metaphysical, whatever you want to say, thing, more than I mean, it is practical, but like,
You know what?
more on that kind of like
You know what Kirk made me realize just now? I think we need to stop apologizing for like, not that I'm saying Kirk was apologizing, but re-emphasizing this fact that we're separating physical, right? Physical and spiritual, where it's like oh, I'm talking, if I were to make an example, it's like, oh, I'm talking in the metaphysical sense or the spiritual sense. Well, I mean, everything is spiritual and everything is metaphysical. So I'm gonna try to get out of the habit of being an apologist for speaking in these more esoteric ways. You know, I need to stop doing that. Where when I'm speaking, it's always spiritual, because there's only the spirit. There's no such thing as physical, and I've gotten off of this. I've gotten off of this lately, where I used to emphasize a whole lot that what's going on inside is what's going on outside, and vice versa. So what you see through your eyeballs, you know, it's just a projection, right? It's just a fake reality projection, but it's a reality at the same time. But it's all spiritual, because everything going inside of you is what's happening on the outside, and vice versa. What's happening on the outside is what's happening on the inside. So everything is spiritual. So there's no need to differentiate between physical and spiritual. You know? Yeah.
level. But racing thoughts, as we have
We'll get
talked
back
about,
into it.
the
I need to
thoughts
I need to get back into that kind of language. I need to rearrange my um thought patterns to get back into this inside out kind of thinking. Because I think that's the real key to controlling the world, as Kristoff is trying to do, playing with his little crystals.
in our mind are often there to harm us. So we have to ignore them most of the time, as uh Rudy would probably say, is that our thoughts are like of the devil, or or like those are Satan's thoughts, or Satan's words, that the voices in the voice in our head telling us this stuff and making us feel these ways or whatever, making us feel anxious and stuff. Those are racing thoughts. Those are the thoughts of, or those are the words or whatever of like Satan and stuff. Those are the words of the devil. Those are the words of the not milk, whatever kind of shit. Like those, the whispers of the not milk.
Yeah, literally the whispers of the not milk, like not milk programming is the best way to put it. Because we are programmed since the day we're spat out of the womb, right? They put on these spells on us, like I said once in a video. It's like they stamp your soul onto your birth certificate and associate you with a legal straw man, first name, last name, all caps. Literally not milk programming language. It's crazy.
The not milk, whatever kind of shit. Like those, the whispers of the not milk, trying to make you feel a certain way and stuff. Intrusive thoughts.
What was the thing in World of Warcraft with the old gods? The lore in World of Warcraft used to be really, really interesting. When they would talk about whispers of the old gods and stuff controlling people's minds. And the old gods were basically just parasites buried underneath the planet that were manipulating the old races, and basically like tricking them into building these artifacts and building these constructs. Like these old gods were just basically, like I said, they're parasites embedded into the planet, into the world that you're living in the game, right? And eventually, you defeat these old gods and all that, and there's a new big bad in the next expansion. But really interesting. I always found that super interesting and super intriguing. I remember one zone in particular. I don't remember the zone actually, but I remember the quest where you have to go mining in some area, and in your chat box, right, a little chat box on the corner of the screen, it would say you hear whispers, blah blah blah, and they tell you to like do things, and you're not going to do those things obviously, but it was interesting world building that they incorporated the chat box. As basic, stupid as this sounds, like I thought it was neat that they used the chat box out of all things to kind of tell the story of what's going on in this particular area of the game. As you're trying to complete a quest, you hear the whispers of these old gods, and you can think of it almost like that, where these crazy neurotic thoughts and suicidal thoughts and the depression, right? The anxiety thoughts, the depression thoughts, the whatever PTSD thoughts are all whispers of the not milk programming, quote unquote, old gods or false gods, right? It's like Satan. Satan's a false god, right? The Prince Vegeta. he's a Prince of Darkness. Whatever. Fuck Ozzy Osbourne.
That are
What a
generally
fucking overhyped boomer piece of shit. Anyway, that's besides the point.
there, like the thoughts are your, in most cases, the thoughts are your enemy. And in most cases you wouldn't listen to your enemy. So when these thoughts are trying to bring you down, it's definitely better to just ignore them, because most of the time the thoughts, really, your mind, your thoughts, whatever you want to say, are your enemy more than your ally. And thus they should be mostly ignored. And then this, I just wanted to, this is like the last note I have for this video, was recently I have definitely been going through what I would describe as depression in a similar vein. Haven't felt like actually doing baking as much.
I think I've said all I wanted to say. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to the timestamp here and see what was said here that made me react.
When I feel it,
Let's see.
uh,
Go back like a minute.
and that seems what I've noticed is that seems to be a pattern where I get like a fascination with like one game and then I play it for like a few weeks or a few months and then I just kind of like drop it for like a long time or as long depending on the game if I ever feel like playing it more after that. But I've been playing more a video game specifically, but so that's probably a pattern with the depression is that I just feel like doing stuff like that, just like consuming media and stuff.
Hmm.
And just the general daily routine stuff. But yeah, that's been my experience recently with depression. And do I know what to do about it besides being aware of it? Not really. Like that's just kind of I don't know, that's just kind of where I realized that it's just when I feel it, when I know and acknowledge it, I think that's one of the more important parts. I would imagine, I don't know if that necessarily would shorten its duration,
Oh yeah.
but just being aware definitely.
The meditation helps too. I don't know if Kirk, when you go through these bouts of depression, if you're actually like, if you have the racing thoughts like Billy has, but meditation will help. Getting away from the electronics, getting away from your parents, especially, because they seem to be the catalyst for. I mean, I don't know for sure. You'd have to tell me, but they do seem to be the catalysts a lot for these bouts of anger and depression. And I mean, I said all I needed to say about that situation. Really, I'm just gonna be beating a dead horse when I'm gonna repeat it. But when I say that, obviously, let your parents suffer, especially your mother. Your mother, like, just fucking let her. And I know it's you have a very valid point, a very valid reason for staying on top of her and her behaviors. And you say that, it's to avoid an issue in the future, right? Because it's going to be a problem in the future. Well, my reasoning is, well, it's a problem now anyway. It's become a problem for you now anyways. But I get you, man. You're gonna do what you think you need to do, and that's fine. But that's just my opinion. I'm not in your shoes, so. But I think that's gonna do for now. It's gonna be like almost a 2-hour video, probably a 2-hour video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll just wrap it up. If y'all got any questions, meet me in the comments. Kirk, hit me up on Discord. Billy, hit me up on Discord. Steven, shout out to Den Keeper Reality Bender podcast. Check that out. I'll put a link in the description. If you want to check out our podcast, pretty good shit. I enjoy it. We do about once a month. It's pretty fun. Y'all have a great day.